Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, you guys, as you can see, I am on the road again. This time I am in Virginia, and I am doing an XCal event today. So if you're in the Ashburn area, make sure you swing by the XCal event, the big shooting center. It's an amazing event, and I cannot wait to see you there if you happen to stop by. But what I have to tell you right now, guys, is it turns out Republicans can write letters too. And specifically with the attention on all the credit card companies. Now, this is crucial because I personally believe this would never occur. Republicans would not activate to write their own letters if you were not active, if you were not showing interest in the story, and you were not contacting your representatives. I'm about to walk you through this letter that Republicans sent, 100 of them, to the credit card companies. In this case, specifically MasterCard. Now, the reason that this is so crucial, guys, is MasterCard, Visa, all these credit card companies, they bent to the will of the bank that tried to get this to be done through the ISO. We've talked about that a lot. However, that's because of pressure that was applied by the leftist activists. Well, now they're getting pressure from the other side, and that is what we have to do. I'd like to see it more proactive from Republicans than reactive, but hey, I'll take what I can get right now. But here's the letter. Check this out, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think in the comments field below as I run you through this thing. So this was written on September 14th, 2022 to Mr. Michael Maybach, Chief Executive Order of MasterCard. Again, from 100 Republicans. 100 Republican signatures are on this thing. But let's get into it. I'm going to show you what they're saying. Mr. Maybach, we write you today with grave concern regarding your implementation of a new firearm-specific merchant category code, which we've covered extensively on this channel. This implementation follows an equally concerning decision by the International Organization of Standardization, or ISO, to create this MCC, which is an assault on the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens. See, that's the thing. They're getting heat now. Originally from the left, they acquiesced, and now they're getting heat from the right. These companies are going to figure out eventually to just stay out of politics, but they haven't yet, so let's continue. As you know, the ISO uses 4-digit codes known as MCCs to classify merchants and businesses by the type of goods or services provided. There were already 2 MCCs that captured legal firearm sales, 5999 for miscellaneous retail stores and 5941 for sporting goods stores. In July of 2021, Amalgamated Bank applied for this firearm-specific MCC, but the ISO's Internal Registration and Maintenance Management Group denied the initial application as well as its following-up appeal in October and November of 2021, respectively. Following these denials, the ISO stated a new code would fail to capture sales at sporting goods stores and would unduly burden smaller firearm retailers. It has been widely reported that American Express, MasterCard, and Visa did not support this application. Again, because you guys are paying attention, they're paying attention. This is incredible. This is all driven by you guys. Specifically, Visa recently stated that they, quote, believe that asking payment networks to serve as a moral authority by deciding which legal goods can or cannot be purchased sets a dangerous precedent. We could not agree more. Amalgamated Bank again applied for creation of new MCC in June of 2022. The ISO recently announced its unfortunate decision to create a firearm-specific code in apparent submission to the desires of liberal activists and politicians who seek to erode the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding American citizens. Amalgamated Bank stated its intent to utilize software to flag allegedly suspicious purchases made by Americans exercising their Second Amendment rights and file these red flags with law enforcement. This sentiment mirrors public statements from a myriad of liberal politicians who see this action as a first step towards further infringing in law-abiding United States citizens utilizing their constitutional right to bear arms. Especially concerning was New York Attorney General Letitia James' statement that, quote, credit card companies must now take the next step and flag suspicious transactions on an ongoing ammunition sales. This is everything that we need to see. And quite honestly, the more of this type of activism that I'm going to see, the more I'm going to be amped about it. Because what they're doing is they're basically speaking exactly what you guys are speaking as well. This is not okay, but let's continue. Of course, there is no accepted, consistent, scientific, or legitimate way to determine from this data what is and what is not a suspicious purchase. A gun control advocate could view any desire to own or obtain a firearm as a per se suspicion. Instead, this is a transparent attempt to chill the exercise of constitutionally protected rights and to circumvent existing legal restrictions of the creation of firearm registry by the government. they're actually hitting the right things. And like I said, this is going towards MasterCard. They're getting heat that they don't want. That's not even counting what you guys are doing with moving to cash and away from these companies. As you have announced your intent to implement this new code, we request you provide answers to the following questions. Oh, this is starting to sound familiar. This is what the Democrats did to all the banks themselves, the exact same way. There's 8 questions, and these are pretty good questions. Does MasterCard support the recent decision by the ISO to create a unique MCC for firearm retailers? If so, what was the reason for changing your view? As it was widely reported, you opposed Amalgamated Bank's twice denied initial application in 2021. 2. What criteria will MasterCard utilize to flag transactions? How were these criteria devised, and what evidence, if any, is there that they will effectively focus only on criminal intent and not on purchases, including high dollar or high volume purchases made for entirely lawful and legitimate reasons? Will MasterCard publish for the public and their card users the criteria used to flag so-called suspicious activity? They're asking the why questions, which I love to see. How will MasterCard inform consumers on the impacts of this implementation? Does MasterCard plan to notify and solicit feedback from consumers during this process? 4. Will MasterCard notify customers with their lawful transactions have been flagged and sent to law enforcement? If not, why does MasterCard not believe this notification is important to the consumer? They're starting to poke holes in the theory. This is crucial. 5. Has your company considered the reputational risk and possible implications for your fiduciary duties to shareholders of potentially angering or alienating a large percentage of America's more than 100 million gun owners, or the millions more who would wish to purchase or own firearms without being subjected to intrusive surveillance or registration? That one is crucial. Fiduciary responsibility is your responsibility on a corporate level to act in the best benefit of your shareholders. So if you are not acting in the best benefit of your shareholders by doing this type of code, which impacts hundreds of millions of transactions, are you going to be in trouble with Congress? That's a loaded one. All right, let's go to 6. Are you aware that federal law contains multiple restrictions on the creation of a national firearm registry, and that this move by your company could be perceived as a bad faith attempt to circumvent those restrictions? Knock, knock, we're about to have Congress. 7. Did you solicit any input from experts in the firearm industry or from any Second Amendment advocacy groups before making the decision to help determine its impact on lawful commercial activity and exercise of constitutional rights? Are you aware, this is 8, are you aware of data compiled by the U.S. Department of Justice showing that only a very small percentage of criminals who illegally use firearms obtain these firearms directly from the sorts of federally licensed dealers who will be subjected to this new MCC? Did you consider this data or do other independent due diligence before moving forward with this effort? We look forward to your timely response to this important matter. I love to see this, and the reason that I love to see this is because Republicans are starting to use the same tactics that Democrats use. And I wanted to make sure I got this to you before I go to this event today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you tonight in the 9 p.m. segment. I'm Braden. See you later.